so this is what we're going to be watching for you. Again, starting to get, as we head towards Short Pump, starting to get some heavier rainfall coming in here towards Short Pump. The area by Rockville right there, that just twisted a little bit. As you saw that. That says now Wyndham at 756, Broadmeadows at 806, Hunton. Severe thunderstorm, maybe some hail. The hail's not that big in it, but it may have some strong gusty winds. Over into this area, and we can see what's going on with that. And again, we've got another little, that's not really a hole in the storm. That's just a gap between the two different cells, the one that went through this area and the one that's coming down from the north right now. All right, let's go back to the storm that's over in Goochland here, the one that we've got. Again, we've got the nice little notch right here. Okay, so this is going to be the area that's got the inflow straight north of Goochland, right on top of 522. So as we're headed up, again, not too far from Cuckoo. Okay, so Cuckoo's right up in here. Sandy Hook, you see this area here, St. Mary's Woods, so it's coming up towards Sandy Hook in that location. This is the region where, again, that's the air coming in, that's spinning into the storm. So if there is a tornado wrapped inside the rainfall, it's located in this area, and it's moving down in this direction at 18 miles an hour. So it's going to move down here. So these are some of the places: Crosswoods, Cedar Hills, Myers Woods, as you can see, Cardwell, Amber Lake, all in the next 30 minutes or so. So Cedar Hills at 8 o'clock, Poplar Forest at 8:01. Okay, so you can see Cedar Hills, Poplar Forest is right down here. So Amber Lake, you're talking about 8:10 or so, and for the possibility of this tornadic storm arriving in your area as we speak. All right, Matt, what you got sticking up in 3 dimensions?
So, John, we talk about this possible tilt, and I don't know if I'm trying to see it or but this here, upper level, we certainly might have something happening, but then we kind of straighten out as we get down. So maybe we have some rotation inside the cloud. Of course, now it just updated and it kind of lifted. So that truly may be some rotation sitting. And by the way, 30,000 feet right there. So 15 to 20,000 feet up in the sky is where we're looking. And the bottom, where John was just focused on, you can see here, this is that kind of bulge. And so what I want to see is this kind of go more that way. It had the potential or the look like
it had the look, but it was also tilted
the opposite way that
it was also tilted to the east, which means the upper level winds would be blowing out the top of the storm.
Right. So
which would probably indicate to me more downburst.
There you go.
More downburst winds associated with that.
So it's just interesting to note. But again, just looking at different styles and different things that we can see with Viper, and I just to use three-dimensional and to really show it is just pretty interesting. So that's what I was looking at, John. I was really staring at it, and I'm glad that we came to me to just give a shot there.
And you can also notice, if you also notice, go look at Short Pump.
Oh, you can see,
Short Pump is tilted to the northeast.
Right. So we might have some strong winds. And the other thing that too has happened is as these storms were back to the west, the anvil, the top clouds, could have cooled things off too, so that kind of takes away some of the heating. And so you got the winds blowing through. So Short Pump looking at some pretty good rain. This may slide into downtown Richmond with some gusty winds, but nothing severe in that respect there.
Yeah, it's not coming out. Again, we're not looking at this big hook echo that you see. While you're there, Matt, and while I'm over here, pull up the Short Pump, one of the like the Rockville camera on I-64. We can take a look at that and see what's going on.
Over to traffic real quick here.
Yeah, the traffic. So we've got it right over here in this area. We've got a couple of cameras located over there. This is there. Well, there it is right there, the Rockville camera. And again, it's pretty much showing the same, but it does look wet off in the distance.
Yeah.
The pavement's wet. Pavement's wet, so it's coming
pretty
down.
much all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wet right there. And then I don't know what we would see at the 288 camera.
Let's see. We'll grab that one here.
Grab that one right there.
And kill that right off.
Yeah. Boom. You got to find a little very tiny X. You have to find to clear it. Okay, go look at this shit.
It looks rainy. It doesn't look like anything super. That's 288-64 just north of Broad. So you're at that interchange. In fact, there's the interchange right there. Yeah. So certainly buckets of rain coming down. You can see what the picture is there. So,
but it's not something that looks absolutely horrible.
No, it's not. And I'll put the radar on there for you as well, so you can see, what we're looking at here. Let me just kick that so you get that off. But you can see the heavy rain right here at 64 and 288 underneath my marker. This one coming on in. This will be north side of 288, north of 6 Patterson. That rain goes all the way back. And then, of course, Haydensville Farms. That's the area that we're focused in on with that potential rotation, John. Again, back to the west. So really a bit to the east now of Haydensville Farms. But so rain now moving into the west end. Again, roads going to get bad. And this morning, John, when Emily and I were talking and doing this stuff, I mean, it came down in buckets so quick you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
We had rainfall reports, I mean, rates of 4, 5, 6 inches, and there was no real good build density to show any hail. It was just coming down in buckets.
It was just coming down.
Yeah.
Woke me up at 6:30 in the morning. The storm that was up by Studley, up there, clanging and
Hey,
banging away.
my pleasure to wake you up early.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's a good flash of lightning in our camera there, too.
Better than the alarm clock. Okay, so here's the action. Here's the core of this nasty weather right now. Haydensville Farms coming down, as you can see, coming right down along Interstate 64. Again, over towards, there's Oilville. So now we are right here. If there is anything going on wind-wise, it's east of Goochland, between Goochland and Oilville. So it's right in this area right now, here. Okay, and if you remember, you go up to Goochland and you go up to the courthouse. You've got the road that takes you back over, and allows you to connect to 64. You go over, you go up, you go past the food line, and you turn, you go by the fairgrounds, you go down, and there's Sheets, Wawa over there in that area right before you hit the interchange. Okay, so this is the area where if we have anything that's ongoing, it's happening right in this spot. We've got some shear right there. That's going to be just east shear marker here that we've got, and I can see it on Matt's computer, but I can pull it up right over here. That was Baron Button, but I can pull it right there. Got a little bit of shear right here. So this is just east of Goochland. So, here's the bridge. And remember, when we got a Memorial Day weekend, we had some people who had to be rescued over here because it's a place here by Beaumont. That's where Beaumont's located, and we've got the area you can access the river. That's a little bit of shear that has popped up right here. And Route 6, okay, is this road that's right here. That's up to 13.3 meters per second. So that's some pretty good shear. That's when it starts getting a little dicey out there, folks. The Boy Scout camp is right up here. In this area here. So that's a place we have to keep an eye on for you. Again, this would fit into where possibly we have a little bit of shear ongoing right now with this storm. Why not? Got a little secondary spot up there. There's Oilville. So again, just east of Goochland Courthouse. This is someplace where this may be cycling and spinning up just a little bit. Back to, let's take a look at the velocity data right there and see if we see anything. Not showing anything screaming on the velocity data, not showing anything screaming on the storm relative velocity, but again, the shear rate is a compilation of multiple tilts of the radar going around so we can see what's happening. So this is more of a three-dimensional product than what you just saw otherwise out through there. Here's the reflectivity data to show you what's going on. Again, that notch has moved just off to the east, and again, shear rate runs a little bit behind. So the shear rate would be right here, and this notch that would possibly have a circulation would be in that location. No cylinders reported from this, as we can see right now. All right, and if I see if I get any shear markers to show, they're not showing anything in this area here. Okay, they're all still, they're seeing the hail. The hail is the biggest thing out there, the core that's got the hail, but that's not necessarily where the wind location happens to be, okay? So this is the hail marker, and that's going down this way, headed towards, Mayo Woods, Poplar Forest, Perkinsville between now and 8 and 11. Again, the Viper Tornado Index, well, that's hail. That shouldn't pick up that high on it. But again, the top is at 44,800 feet. We are coming into sunset, even though the summer solstice is next week, longest daylight hours of the year. We're starting to come in towards sunset, so we're starting to lose some of the heat energy from these storms across the region. Matt, you grabbed a couple of the printouts. Was there anything of significance on them?
No, the only thing that just came through a couple of seconds ago was there was some thunderstorm wind damage in Louisa, right at the Louisa airport. Yep. Trees down at Mount Airy Road, which was the same road that was hit about 4 weeks ago, roughly speaking, with the tornadoes on the Friday night when you and I were together.
The Friday night when we were doing this, which was
May-ish.
It was the beginning of Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, was that, boy?
Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
We had the EF0 tornado that went through a 10-mile path through Hanover County that we were tracking, and then that one actually was an EF1 tornado that was about a quarter of a mile wide at one point. So it took them a while to get in there because some of the areas were inaccessible. But that's Mount Airy Road was that location that you had there. So this is the storm right now. Again, this is the heavy rain that's being picked up. You're going to see all the little arrows coming out of that because that's got hail associated with it. Again, this area by Oilville, southwest of Oilville, east of Goochland. That is where we're seeing the possibility of some shear associated with the storm. Again, this is a radar-detected storm. Again, tornado warning remains in effect. It is Powhatan, it is Goochland. That is in effect until 8:15 p.m. this evening, okay? So 8:15 p.m. this evening. Velocity data, it's not screaming at me right now. Let's get the warning off there for you. The shear rate, again, it's moving a little bit to the northeast, okay? So it's shifted a little bit to the northeast, okay? Showing you what's going on here as we come through. So you can see this shear rate continues. It's dropped a little bit. It was up over 10 a moment ago. Now it's back down to about 8 or 9 across the area right now, 9.2. So it has come down a little bit for you, so folks. So this is what's going to be going on with this storm. Again, this tornado warning remains in effect until 8:15 p.m. tonight. Great. Matt.
All right, so we are looking at the radar information here, and again, what we've been talking about is a tornado warning that is in effect until 8:15. Folks, if you're just joining us on the back side of Jeopardy, yes, we will get to your basketball game tonight. That begins at 9 o'clock, and I know we have the special with Jimmy Kimmel, but John Bernier cut in this evening during our 6 o'clock newscast with a tornado warning up in Louisa County, and those tornado warnings have been extended and slid down through I-64 and now are in Goochland County, also in Powhatan County. This tornado warning, as you see behind me, is in effect until 8:15. It stops right at the edge of Henrico County, just to the west of Short Pump. So again, this is something we have been tracking. There have been confirmed funnel clouds, but no confirmed touchdowns back in Louisa and also in Fluvanna County with this storm. We have seen some very good rotation on Viper real-time radar. We've seen some markings of potential rotation high in the sky, but nothing that has been confirmed on the ground at this time. John Bernier is here with me, and John, this has been a pretty active evening. We had 2 rounds. We had the round this morning, but then we kept saying, watch for the round this afternoon. Yeah. It could be strong with some gusty winds, and it's gone a little bit.
In a way, this is actually round 2A, because round 2 started was the storms that went through Buckingham down to the south of us, down through Pennsylvania, through Lunenburg County, and those locations, Charlotte County, a lot of wind damage. This is round 2A. Again, here's the shear. You just see it updated, went down, it came back up a little bit, so the red's over 10. It's between River Clef and the Forest, right on Route 6, okay? Yes, I know it's the Jimmy Kimmel special right now. The game starts at 9 p.m. We hope this is all done by 9 o'clock. Celtics taking on the Golden State Warriors, game 6. All right, I know a lot of you want to watch the basketball game, so we'll see what happens, is how this all plays out. Again, the shear markers right now for us, they haven't sparked up. They're all back with the hail. Okay, this is where the winds are located associated with this storm, okay? So that's the area we're watching with the winds down to the southeastern part. So this is the notch here by Oilville. This is the area in which if there is a wind circulation, something may be going on, okay? So this could possibly be coming down, okay, as you see, towards the Short Pump area, if we take it down the southeast, at about 18 miles an hour. So we'll take it down in this direction here. Start it right here by Oilville, take it down at 18 miles an hour, and that puts it right down, as you can see, very close to Short Pump. Dover Run, 8:19 p.m. Fords, 8:16 p.m. Could be coming straight down 250, okay, out of Goochland County, headed towards Short Pump. All right, this area back here in Goochland on 522, that's where the heavy rainfall is. That's also possibly where there is some hail contained inside the storm. Again, the indications for the hail up here, all right, would be on the order of about 1 inch to 2 inches. So you see right here, here's our hail signature. We can use the Barron button to kind of show you what's going on a little bit better. And you would see this just got one little area of brighter purple. Okay, this would be 1/2 inch, this would be 1 inch, that would be 1.5 inches hail. Okay, so if there's hail ongoing in here, it's most likely, my rule of thumb is cut the numbers in half. All right, and so we would be talking maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch hail possible in some of these locations. Matt's checking in right here by Goochland and Oilville, looking for some of the shear to see what's going on. So Matt, what have you got right there?
So that marker that you saw there, that shear rate, which is coming in here in the red at 11.7, indicates to me, hey, we got to watch this carefully. So what I did was I put it over to the storm relative velocity, and I certainly started to see at least a little bit better of kind of rotation. If I take off the warning, you can easily see the reds here, the greens here. Again, green toward, red away, and that's our spin, what we're looking at here. So as we slide in, and we're not seeing the cylinders like we saw earlier, so just keep that in mind. But again, as we kind of look at that one more time, it looks like it might have just updated and come down just a bit there. It certainly did. But if we look near Thorncliffe, Pleasant Green, this area, this is that, potential kind of rotation, if you will, right along the James River. This could be sliding down to the southeast, moving towards Sublets. And again, certainly some gusty winds and maybe some upper level rotation, but we're marking, 20, away from the radar, 16 in. That's not the greatest spin or shear up in the sky. I'll put the markers on. You won't even see a marker with that at all. So just to give you an idea, again, this is a system that has had produced a funnel cloud, but right now, two of them, right, but not doing anything at least that screams, hey, look at me, that kind of a thing. But that tornado
sometimes weird things do happen because if you go back to the 2008 tornado that hit down in the South Park area, was actually the third tornado to hit Kmart when Kmart existed down there in 18 years. The one that hit the pool place down there. If you remember,
I know what you're talking about.
That one actually, when the winds when you looked at the data were only like 40 and 15 miles an hour. It was a very low-end tornado that kind of just basically just popped out of the sky. So sometimes these things do that, even though you don't see huge shear associated with it. Okay, so here's the radar right now, again, going on. Okay, this is the area here that we're concerned about where we're seeing the shear in the atmosphere. This is the location here that's got the hail signature on the east side of 522. And if I was to go ahead and query this and show you the rainfall rate, you're going to get a crazy number right there, okay? So that number is 22 inches per hour, okay? Folks, it's not coming down like a biblical flood. But that's because it's got ice in there, and ice is super reflective to the radar beam, okay? So that would tell me, that's going to tell me that it's got a hail signature in there. In fact, if we go to Ville density, you're going to see the number up here, 1 inch. Okay, so it's suggesting 1 inch hail, which probably means half-inch hail on the way down. And this is a big area between Route 6 and 250 where we've got the possibility of some hail. You come up here into this location, going up a little further to the north, and that's the area where you're going to be seeing a possibility. It comes down here. You've got the meeting point 250 and 522. They get the BP station with the DQ right there. That is the region where, that's the western edge of all of this ongoing right now happening. Okay, so let's widen this view back out a little bit to kind of show you what's happening. Again, here is the warning that is in effect. That is in effect now for the next 7-8 minutes. The southeastern end of this is the Henrico-Goochland border, and then you go right here through central Powhatan, so it can be in Powhatan High School, which is actually right over here, not underneath that warning right now. And again, this has all been a radar-detected circulation. 2 funnel clouds reported back to the west, east of Zion Crossroads. I think it was probably just into the western part of Louisa County and by Louisa itself. Damage by the Louisa County Airport, Freeman Field. Also got damage reported at the baseball fields up there. And on the backside of the system, there's more heavy rain ongoing in Palmyra right now. And you can see this is all sliding down here as we head into the city, starting to get heavier rain moving in over us in the city towards Tuckahoe, towards Short Pump and Laurel as we speak right now. So that's coming down into the city, starting to come down pretty good over us here. And that's eventually going to cross. You see the Laurel area over towards Mechanicsville. So this is not too far away. 95, 295. It's over by where John, Teresa, and Rachel Fries live up there off of 295. And you can see here, Goochland is the area. It's still big. And this has just been sitting here in Goochland. It's very slow to move. Slow. So I wouldn't be, I would not be surprised, folks, if we end up getting a flash flood warning up in this location because of the rainfall that's been ongoing up there. Barron Button, again, indicates pretty wide swath of hail. That brighter pink area has just grown a little bit. Again, that's the model saying 1.5 inch hail. Okay, so that's grown up a little bit. So that hail may be cycling up a little. Shear rate, again, continues to be, well, not much here. Get a little thing that just popped up here, and that will happen on occasions. This does not look to be that huge. It's weakened considerably here east of Goochland. So that shear rate by Lee and Crozier have come down tremendously in the next few minutes. So maybe this storm is beginning to wind itself down. Again, we're going into sunset. We're starting to lose some of the heat energy. You can see right here, this has also split, okay, into two areas, okay? So the hail spikes have split into two locations, which means this thing may be starting to become a little more disorganized over us here. Now we've got through Laurel, Glen Allen, Tuckahoe, we've got some pretty good rainfall that's starting to move in here into the west end of the city as we speak right now. So you go over to the area by English Hills, Sweetbriar, Crestview, West Hampton, right there, you're coming out, Grove Avenue. You go over here by the Country Club. Probably coming down pretty good on the golf course there right now. Matt?
John, you mentioned the rainfall, so I went to the rainfall data just for the past 6 hours. So, the leading edge, we've seen about 1.2 inches in central Goochland County, but we go back up into orange, and you are correct. A flash flood warning has been issued for that area where there easily have picked up between 4 to 6 inches of rain in the past 6 hours. So way too much here. Again, lesser as we've gone down, but it is still raining in this area, so these numbers will go up. But yeah, there's no flash flood warning in effect for anywhere in Goochland or Hanover or even into Fluvanna County. So, but just to kind of throw that up there for you, since you were mentioning that potential of maybe some intensive rainfall, because we've been seeing that extreme rainfall for sure. If we slide back in here, and again we go right to shear rate, it's my favorite product. I'll tell you that right out of the gate, because it is the number one way to be able to show if there's anything going on. And boy, has this really weakened that leading edge now at 4.9. So it is at 8:10, and this tornado warning for Goochland and Powhatan counties continues until 8:15 this evening. So that's got about 5 more minutes left on it. Again, we continue to track what was a very robust storm. Still is in terms of heavy rainfall, potential for hail as well. We have been marking, and John's been talking about this, and I'll just pop that right up there for you. Inch and a quarter hail. At one point, we actually had a marking of possibly 2-inch size hail, and your John's rule of thumb is cut it in half, and that worked out well for some of the reports that we got, between 3/4 of an inch to an inch of hail. But again, we take the leading edge of this area here. Let me just clear off all of this stuff for you, and I'll put an 8 new storm track right on the leading edge right here. Take it to the southeast at about 18 miles per hour, and you can see this is moving toward Sublets at 8:22, over toward Huguenot Springs 8:33, James River Estates 8:38, and Partridge Hills down at 8:38. We also have that other section up along 64 from Short Pump to Tuckahoe to Lakeside. That is going to move over Richmond, right over the Prime Park interchange, probably cross with some very heavy rain into the Richmond Raceway facility, so areas around the raceway there, and then heading over to Highland Springs and moving on. If you are watching us, by the way, in Chesterfield County, Hopewell, Petersburg, obviously it's been very quiet for you, but this storm, of course, we would cut in for you, we would stay on the air for you, just like we are for our friends up in Goochland and Powhatan and into the West End. But again, it is now 8:12, and this continues to show some signs of not as great as it once was in terms of weakening, in terms of the storm. One thing I am looking at here, I'll take that warning off, that leading edge now is at the edge of the warning. We are marking the shear rate there at 5.5 in the front edge of this storm. Again, so certainly gusty winds, possibly some rotation high aloft, but not the greatest of deals at this point, John. And probably that's the greatest thing to say. But we've been fooled before. We've seen...
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
Just kind of ramp right back up.
We've seen things ramp back up. Crazy things happen with these storms. Again, here, Stratford Hills now. Cherokee Hills, Chippenham Village starting to see some heavy rainfalls. This is now starting to move into the city. All right, take a look back off to the west. Here's the leading edge of that storm. This is the leading edge, the area that we were concerned with. Now, we're seeing the dark colors disappear from here, east of Goochland. Heavy rainfall situation, maybe some hail embedded in there. That's continuing to slide down towards the southeast. Again, it's 8:13 now, and that's 2 minutes left in this warning. I haven't seen any updates saying it's going to be extended, it's going to be put out, it's going to be canceled or anything, or maybe extended down to the southeast as a severe thunderstorm warning. All right, so that's it. Otherwise, widen the view out a little bit. Got another storm up here northwest of us, okay? As you can see, this is up here north of Charlottesville. Okay, so that's probably going to come down, slide down, head towards Caroline County, and other storms back off to the west, as you can see there. But this is the storm of concern here in central Virginia right now. This is that tornado warning, and of course, this is the third tornado warning from this cluster of storms. It started, oh, actually the fourth one, because we had the one in Orange that was a 15-minute long warning. Started right before 6:30. That one expanded to the first one down to Louisa, and then these two warnings stacked on top of each other. Again, 522, 64, Route 6. These are the areas of concern right now from the storm as it continues to move on down the southeast. Again, this is the heavy rainfall band, and you even notice the number of arrows on these storms has just dropped to 1. Okay, which is a good sign, meaning we're seeing a weakening in the storm right now. This part of the storm would head down through Covington, the Forest, Hunters Woods, Crozier, Old Oaks, Lee, so this is Hallsborough, so that's going to cut down through Powhatan into the northwestern part of Chesterfield County. The VTI down to a 2.7. It's still indicating some pretty good hail associated with it at 1.75 inches. Again, that would probably be less than an inch if it came down there. So this might be a storm for northwestern Chesterfield to deal with between now and 9 p.m. across the region. So that storm's coming through. Just heard something ding.
There we go. Severe
thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, so they are going to allow the tornado warning to expire, John. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Chesterfield County until 8:45, also for Powhatan County, and it looks like it might be grazing Goochland, and it looks like it's still staying out of Henrico County. So
I might have just a little clip of Henrico.
Yeah, they clipped it out. Look at that. They did a little notch there. Okay.
Okay, they did that.
So yeah, so again, Powhatan, Goochland, Chesterfield, severe thunderstorm warning now.
Well, no, it's going to have Goochland because there's the river.
Yeah, you know, it said Goochland.
It said Goochland. Okay,
but not
Henrico.
Not Henrico.
Not Henrico.
But the tornado warning now has officially
expired. But now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm, and what that would mean is severe thunderstorm warning, hail, excess of 1 inch, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and yes, severe thunderstorms can and do produce tornadoes, although they are not as likely as in a tornado warning. So this is the storm that we are watching right through here, Pleasant Green, Fine Creek Mills at 8:22. And as we go through here, it's moving to the southeast at 29 miles an hour with the 13 miles an hour. And again, the VTI continues to come down. So that's the new warning that has just been issued across the area. Again, you know, we're not looking at anything that is screaming the possibility of tornadoes right now. It doesn't show a tornadic signature, but it does show a potential hail signature coming through, okay, with that storm. And they still have some action back off to the north and northwest of us here. So this does include parts of the metro area. Continuing to go with us right now. Let's go ahead and turn these off right here on this point because you saw the storm tracks where it's going. We're going to look at the storm relative velocity from this and see if we see, we really don't see anything that looks tremendous with this. Got a nice little area that's a little bit stronger that's outbound for us here. The shear rate, just a little bit right there. That's not much. Okay, so again, this is turning more into a situation that's going to produce some straight line winds and produce the potential of hail. Again, the storm's, the reason the warning's been issued, this storm has a history of producing damage upstream as a result of this afternoon's heating off to the west of us and the potential for the strong storms there. So there's the area by Fine Creek Mills right now. This is where we've got the shear ongoing. Fine Creek Mills, our good friend Morgan Dean and his wife Courtney got married there. Fine Creek Mills, one of my neighbors, Rebecca Bourne, also got married there also, okay? All right, here's what's going on, and we take a look. Real conventional radar to show you what's happening. The reflectivity, again, shows, again, this is beginning to wind down here as it slides on down the southeast. So the hail signature is starting to weaken a little bit, Matt.
All right, yeah, so I just put up a storm track on this just to kind of have that up there for you. Again, Hallsborough at 8:38, Midlothian 8:43, Otterdale 8:45. That's where the storm is heading to. Again, the potential for hail. Since the tornado warning has expired, John and I are going to step aside, but we are going to continue to watch these storms in the Storm Tracker 8 Weather Center, and if another tornado warning comes up, we will be back on the air. Until then, we'll join Jimmy Kimmel in progress.